So Highland Noise Podcast, I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Ryan Vale from Larcenia Road.
And there's some questions today about the upcoming album, Extraction. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
People have been super excited. It's our first, official LP. So it's, a little bit of nerves. Our debut EP obviously kind of picked us up off the ground. And so we felt a little bit of pressure to deliver something good. And so the hype has continued. And so far we've had, a few singles drop. Our latest one dropped this morning or at midnight. So far things have been better than expected. So we're super stoked.
That's so wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
The album's incredible. It's fucking crazy as shit. Bonkers.
Album fucking rips. You're all
Yeah, sure. Hell yeah. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah, so the first EP that we released, kind of the overall theme was, make the world smile. Just is kind of off-putting, but it's kind of this kind of mission we've had where we wanted to use our weird, brutal music to make people smile, but also just weird them out. We're into that type of stuff. And because when you tell someone to smile, it's just a little like, oh, okay.
Oh, fuck? Yeah.
Yeah. So when it came to naming the full LP, now we got you smiling with our first go around. Now we're going to extract it. So that's where extraction comes from. We have your teeth showing to us. We're going to take them. So it's more of, people can have their fun with that. It's really just a good marketing tactic or we think it's good. I don't know, but it gives us a lot of routes to go and a lot of the song titles and the rest of the album just kind of leads down that path.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Hell yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about the writing process for the album?
Yeah, so we didn't change up too many things compared to the EP. Henry Coster, our guitarist, also known as the Onlooker, he does most of the main composition work. He sends his weird, strange ideas to me. I will kind of go on my laptop, rearrange it all, cut it all up, and send him back a whole different song. And then we'll send voice messages to each other. I think the song should go do dot instead of E. And we just do this back and forth thing until all of a sudden we have some super brutal song. And we do everything in-house. So we write, produce, mix, master, everything. So this album was my first time doing a full mix myself. So I was kind of learning along the way. Obviously I've developed some skills over the years, but just the whole process, it's all in-house, and we do it, if you had a professional producer, like a high-end producer, watch what we did, they'd probably be cringing the whole time because we're just doing things our way, not a textbook way. And I think that's what kind of brings our sound to life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm curious, you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, there was this pressure around the album because of the success with the first EP. How did you guys kind of manage and deal with the pressure going into writing for this one?
Yeah. A lot of faith in ourselves. We did experiment a little bit with the new album. We have some songs that are way different than what we've written before. We kind of built, we grinded our teeth from doing these jump scare extended breakdowns. And so now we want to put a little bit more of like a kind of grown up sound where the songs are a little bit more polished. They have, better production, obviously. But when it came to like the pressure of it, like we just had to, at the end of the day, trust ourselves. We don't really show other people our songs until they're submitted. So no one hears our demos until they aren't demos anymore. They're legit masters. So it's just between us. And that in itself, I remember the week, it was right before we left for the Unique Legion tour. It was like a day before I left, I submitted everything to the label. And time goes on, they finally listen to it, and we're like halfway through our first tour ever, and they let us know like the album's killer, and like I started tearing up immediately
Oh,
because how
yeah.
much like pressure, time, and
Mhm.
um, it just the time and the sacrifice it took. Henry and I definitely we were stressed. A
Mhm.
lot of the times we enjoyed it, a lot of the times, but overall, we just had confidence deep down that it was all going to work out, and people were going to we still have to release it all, but I
Yeah.
think people are at least digging the direction we're going.
That's
That's good to hear.
wonderful. Hell yeah. So, what song off the album took the longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
I actually think one of the longer songs to write is actually one of the most simple songs, and it was
Oh.
actually Lip Split, which was our one of our singles, and that's just a
Mhm.
straight like ignorant slam
Mhm.
song, and like the rhythms and everything are very, very basic. Like it should not have taken us that long, but
Okay.
we were experimenting with so many different ideas.
Hmm.
And then at the end of it, we're just like, hey, let's just like not, let's not push it too hard. Let's just simplify some things and just write an ignorant song.
Yeah.
And ended up working out. People are loving it so far. It's been killing it on the streams. And then also we got to, record Hot Cross Buns on a recorder and a kazoo. And so I don't know why we came up with that, but I'm happy we did. And people are digging that. So that song probably for some reason took the longest. I don't, again, it couldn't really tell you why.
Yeah.
My favorite song, it'd probably have to be a tie between Flesh and Brine
Mhm.
or Sickly Sweet.
Mhm.
Um, our name, the names to our songs are definitely a little bit interesting,
Yeah.
but both the songs have dynamics of our EP,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but just a little bit evolved. And those are the things where it feels like down at home with me.
Yeah.
That's we wanted to keep that on the album, keep some of our identity in there, but they have some fun squirrely vocal stuff and some fun breakdowns and just heavy, heavy stuff. So
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Wonderful.
So how did the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, close be a closer, shuffling and see what fits? What was that process like?
we rearranged the track listing too many times.
Okay. Okay.
A lot of it came down to I would listen to the entire album like 12 times a day, and I would rearrange it every time. And after like weeks and weeks of doing it, I would send a recommendation to the guys. They would listen to it, give me their opinion, and then we just formulated. At the end of the day, I'm just, hey, right or wrong, this is what it's going to be.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's what it ended up being. But our intro, Teeth, that was written like completely last minute, like within like no time at all. I think like a month before the release. We just wrote it, just experimented with a demo idea. And next thing you know, we have a full intro. So sometimes it just works that way. That was the by far the easiest one we wrote on the album. So
I can
That's good.
imagine. Yeah. And would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating the record?
yeah, so like I mentioned, a little bit of stress, a little bit of anxiety, but I think overall we were kind of when you're in a birthing stage of anything, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's doing any form of interviews or you run a business or music, um, once you start building that identity, things do become a little bit easier or a little bit more streamlined
Mhm.
because your process is in place. So our process felt pretty good, but of course we had to complicate it.
Why not?
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Jazz
just
it up.
going
Mhm.
going a little bit above and beyond what we were doing before, and that was kind of the goal of the album. Just go push a little harder. So we felt confident and we were excited about the songs. We started writing before. Actually, originally, Slippy Slide and Onlooker were both originally supposed to be on the new album originally, and
Mm.
then we got signed and they were like, hey, let's just release those on the re-release of Dereliction.
Mhm.
Um, so like we already started writing and getting a vibe for the new album.
Yeah.
Um, so once we re-released those, we're like, well, now let's start from scratch and like try to progress off of that sound.
Mhm.
So it's all built onto it. We built confidence in between, but confidence and stress and everything in between. So that didn't
Yeah.
really answer that, but
Oh, it
just
did absolutely.
Yeah.
it was emotional. It was emotional. So,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotional, confident, stress is what I
Right.
got from that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm curious. You mentioned that this record was like your first time with a full mixing project, correct?
yeah, so I had never fully mixed anything like guitars,
Mhm.
bass, drums. Like I had done like mastering. So I mastered the original EP and I've mastered some other stuff, but when it came to the actual mix, tone, bass tone, snare tone, spent way too long on getting the snare right.
Yeah.
But yeah, my first.
Okay, so like since it was the first real crack at it, when did you know? Like, how did you know when it was time to stop, or did you just kind of have to be like, I have to take my hands off this?
I become obsessive with things. So at some point, we would go down a route and like we thought it was the sound we wanted, and then it wasn't working for like one of the other songs, like the mix wise.
Mhm.
And since it didn't work, now we need to start from square one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So once all the songs sounded like they meshed together, and I was happy with the dynamics, it all came together pretty quick. Like I try my hardest to just swallow those kind of anxious thoughts when it comes to, hey, are you sure it's ready?
Mhm.
I've gotten used to that over the years, so I got to a point where I was happy enough with it, where I just felt like, hey, I need to trust it, because at that point you're listening to these songs way too many times, you don't even know what you're hearing anymore.
Yeah.
You have
Your
no idea.
fatigue.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just kind of bit down and said, hey, this is it. Hopefully people like it. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should do in the car with friends and dark with headphones on? Is workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
Ooh, loud. That's the only thing. Just listen to it loud. I definitely do like a headphone listen. I'm a gym guy, so most of my, when I'm taking notes and writing lyrics, it's at the gym.
Mhm.
So I would say that may be the best way. Like if you got your headphones on, you're working out, because then you kind of feel a little bit more of like the roots of where it came from. Just like, hey, this is what he was hearing, and this is what it ended up being as the final product when he was at the gym. And then you're there, or you don't go to the gym and you're just like working and not focusing on your job. That's also another one. That would be really good.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. And this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Very fucking heavy.
Damn straight. It's
That's
true.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
I would just say be open to it. If that's not really an emotion, but I would say just be open to it, because people know coming in to Arsenio Row, like I have to be on my feet. Like I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, should I be nervous? Should
Yeah.
I be scared or something? Just be open to it, because we take every song has a certain placement
Mhm.
in the album, and they're not all the same. So if you want to listen to the same song over and over again, like this isn't the album for you. But they're all generally pretty much just as heavy.
Yeah.
Don't worry about us writing like some sappy song.
Or cute
No,
little pop
no
song.
pop bullshit on this record.
Right. We do have a little bit like a song on there that is a little bit pop structured, but we kind of like make it a parody where it ends in like the most ignorant slam song ever. So,
So dope. Yeah.
we may play with it at times, but yeah, just have an open mind.
Hell yeah.
For sure. All right. And are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of the album, positive or negative?
So far, I'd say the positives. Just one thing I would note that I haven't already mentioned was just working with our featured artists. Wandal from Volvadenia, Dustin from Filth, Alex Kohler, ex Chelsea Grin. Working with all those guys was super, super awesome. And just collaborating with other musicians that I listen to all the time. It's just, it's
So
such a
cool.
fun experience. We've been blessed with really good features on our music so far. But being able to film a music video with Dustin, he took time. He was on tour. Took a night with us, and we filmed. So that type of stuff really matters to me. When a lot of people do features and stuff, but they just kind of do it as like a financial, like
Mhm.
transactional thing.
Yeah.
But it was really good to kind of share that and have them in our video. I think it really helped the song come to life. That was definitely a positive that I really enjoyed. All those guys are on the album, great guys. Definitely recommend working with them if you are interested at any point. But yeah, that was a positive. Negative was working on that snare. Yeah, it took way too long.
Fuck that snare.
But we're happy with it now. So
Go.
That's all that matters. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
dude, all right, this is a great question because part of our song Lip Split, we dedicated it to the gas station kids. Growing up, I didn't grow up with a ton of money, so like whenever I had like $1.50, I was going to the gas station.
Mhm.
Like that was it. So I would say Oakhurst Super Premium Chocolate Milk. Half pint of that. I'm from Maine, so that's like a New England thing.
Mhm.
If I'm going back in time, I would say probably a Slim Jim. I'm a big Slim Jim guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I'll go with my favorite candy bar of all time. And I don't even think they make them this way anymore, but the original Take Five.
Oh.
Like, I think they
Ooh.
changed the name of it, or now it's like a Reese's Take Five or something. It's not the same,
Yeah.
dog. It's not the same. Like,
It's
I
not the
need
same.
the original, like, reddish packaging Take Five. That was my gas station go to all the time. So
Yeah. They messed it up. I'm sorry about that, man.
they did. They did. It's all right. It's all right. I've gotten over it a little bit, but still some hard feelings, obviously. But
I agree. And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
we would be. It's not a real dish yet, but we'd be an eggy mess. That's the name of our new single. So
Yeah, nice plug.
Come up with whatever concoction it would be, but we'd be an eggy mess. That's what we'd be.
Eggy mess.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
And for the last couple of questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
My last meal would probably be my mother's lasagna. I love it. I would have that with maybe like a side of collard greens. I'm a big barbecue guy and like Southern cooking. Once I moved down here, collard greens changed my life.
Damn straight. Yup.
Big on that. I'm also a big barbecue guy. I cook barbecue like every week. So I need to put a barbecue item as a side to my lasagna, which sounds crazy.
Hell no.
Yeah, we're gonna do
Cook
a side of brisket.
Okay.
No, we're gonna do a side of burnt ends. A side of
Ooh, god damn. Okay. Okay.
I'd think for a second.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna wash that down. I'm gonna wash that down with a 0 sugar Mountain Dew. I like them. They're better than the regular Mountain Dew. The 0
Yeah.
sugar.
Exactly. I get it.
Simple.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Easy. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Would Lord of the Rings like the Shire? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
probably be the Shire.
Hell yeah.
I
Like
feel
the
like-
7 meals a day? Dude,
Yeah.
I'm fucking in too.
Yeah. I just feel like you can't beat that.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
you cannot.
Hell yeah. I've done the last question. Every single person who's spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Blue. Navy blue. Navy blue.
There you
This
go.
Okay, beat us to the follow up. All right. Gonna ask specific shade. You already got it. That's great.
That's great. So as I said, that's all the questions you have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
May 16th, our brand new full LP Extraction drops through Unique Leader Records. You can follow us on Instagram at Larcenia Row _, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, whatever social media platform you're on. We're probably on it. And Just remember to smile.
Hell yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
sure.
Well, thank you for now. It's been Ryan from Larcenia Row, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.